And anyone watching this, Drippy's fucking amazing, but really Alex is fucking amazing. Just dive in and you're gonna get a lot of value very fast.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another interview. Today we are with Sam from Social Reach. Sam, what's up, my man? Thank you for hopping on. How you
Not
been?
much, man. I'm just upset I'm not sending more DMs right now. You're just
Ah,
wasting.
there we go. No, dude, they're running in the background, dude. They're running in the background.
I know, but I need more. I need
You
more.
need more? We need to get you more accounts. Dude, awesome. So, like, can you, I guess, just to start things off, can you talk to the audience a little bit about who you guys are, what you guys do, who you guys work with, all that stuff?
Yeah, yeah, totally. So, long story short, we're a cold email agency that specializes in emailing influencers or creators, as they're now called, but I still call them influencers. Um, Long story short, we work with mostly creator economy companies, although occasionally there's like certain companies where their ICP is just on social, like maybe photographers or models or whatnot. And we've worked with about 150 creator economy companies over the last 5 years. Our first client for the business was actually OnlyFans. So I used to work very closely with the CMO of OnlyFans for a couple of years, who's now a pretty good friend of mine. And then second client was Patreon.
Wow.
10, 15 clients later was Substack, Beehive, if you know the creator space, Fanfics, Passes, Linktree, TikTok, Beacons, a lot of creator economy companies.
That's super sweet, dude. And so essentially, you guys do like mass scale outreach for these guys, and so you know
Yeah.
the outreach game.
Mm-hmm.
And now
You know
you
pretty
guys,
well.
yeah, sweet. And now you guys are kind of also looking at social outreach,
Mm-hmm.
Twitter being one of the platforms you guys are running on.
Yeah, so man, I've been curious about scaling DMs for way longer than I care to admit. It's a little embarrassing, honestly. I the thing is we just have so many emails and our average client, I would say it's either like a 3 or 4 month average retention with clients, maybe a little bit longer. And typically we don't get through all the leads by the end of the engagement. So sometimes like when it goes really well and a company wants to scale down to like, a really small amount of followers or something, we'll, go through the entire list. But a lot of times we, just are overwhelmed with the amount of emails that we have. So we haven't really had a pressing need to get into DMs, but honestly, I think just like as we've gotten better at what we do, we've realized we're just like it doesn't make sense to keep going down to the smaller follower counts. That's really, what I would say we've realized is it really makes a lot more sense for us to just move over to this channel. And yeah, I've been thinking about Instagram DMs forever. Obviously, it seemed hard. One of my friends actually runs a pretty big company that's
Oh,
sort of like that
nice.
cold DMs company that
Yeah.
automates Instagram DMs, but he doesn't have like the proxies and like
Mm,
multi-account, sending ability and all that stuff. So I never
right.
really, and I was always worried about getting accounts banned. But
Right.
then I saw you guys out there, and actually, the way I found out about Drippy was a client told me about it. A client told
Wow.
me he was doing their email, and they're like, "Oh, we're trying this
Nice.
Twitter tool, and it's working really well." So that was like a year ago, and then only recently have I really carved out the time. I'm just lazy. I'll be honest.
Dude, no, you're
Lazy.
just busy,
And
dude. You're just busy.
yeah, but yeah, now we're getting into DMs.
Sweet. And I guess how's that been, dude? Like how's the transition been? Because like typically what we say is like if you already have something that's working really like if you know outreach and you have something that's working really well on other platforms, kind of just taking that and putting it also on Twitter or any other like outreach method or like thing, it'll just work well, right? Because if you found something that is already working somewhere else, right, that's also one to one, not one to many, then odds are taking that angle, taking that same kind of like idea behind the script will work really well on Twitter. So is that like how have you guys seen that transition or not transition, but like adding Twitter as a source of like lead gen?
Yeah, so I mean, the first thing I'll say I was blown away with, and it doesn't need to be as high as email. We have a really high open rate with influencers with email. Like, it says our smart lead dashboard will say 80 to 90%, although we know because of the bug with Apple. And if you have I don't know if you know about this, but if someone has, what's the app called? Just like the mail app on Apple and their email connected to it, then that actually causes the tracking pixel to fire as soon as the email lands there. So we don't really know what percentage of people that comes. But anyway, we have a high open rate there, and I wasn't expecting it to be super high on Twitter. but we ran a campaign to influencers that I'm not going to say too much about because I don't want to give away too
Yeah.
much sauce today. But we had, I think we had a campaign with like a 28-ish% response rate, and I think we had a campaign finish with over a 30% response rate.
Pretty
And these
sweet.
were influencers with between 2 and 500,000 followers. And we haven't yet gone back and done the analysis on like what the response rate was by different cohorts of number of followers. But anecdotally, looking at the replies, we saw a lot of replies from people with 50, 20, 100,000 followers. And that was our first campaign on Drippy. We said some really good copy. We had a really good offer. I think crucially, we went after. So I actually turned on my DMs the other day for something, and I noticed I'm getting tons of DMs from other people who are clearly using Drippy or something like it, probably Drippy because you guys are crushing. And it's probably because I follow Vaibhav from Smart Lead and like Nick from Lead Bird and like different people in cold outreach, and then there's people who sell services to cold outreach people via cold outreach by
Yeah.
targeting cold outreach influencers and their followers. And
That's
I'm
us.
looking at this, and actually, funny enough, like we were talking before about this guy Cody Schneider, who me and you are both fanboys of, and I've been listening to his podcast lately. It's fucking great, and I DM with him a little bit, but anyway, he tweeted out like, "What the fuck is going on with all these Twitter DMs? Like, why? Like, does this work? Why would this work?" And it's so funny because I've heard him talk before about how he's crushing it with cold email, and it's like, dude, why would
Exactly.
this not work
Exactly.
exactly the same way? But I think the difference between a key difference between him getting hit up and the people we were going after being hit up is there aren't the same a number of people using Drippy to automate outreach to this segment of the market. So I think you got to be smart. Like, I don't know, I'm talking to a client right now who he runs a private equity firm that owns a bunch of golf brands, and we're doing a little
Nice.
test right now with some Twitter data. We're not going to do DMs, but we should do DMs. But like he wants to scrape all the followers of a bunch of big Instagram and Twitter accounts related to golf because all the companies he owns are golf related. I think I mentioned, and one of the companies he owns is an information product business. And like, if you go to Tiger Woods or Phil Mickelson's followers and you hit them with a golf offer, that like those people have never been DM'd by a Twitter drippy tool. This is like I don't even know. Like this is like cold email in 2001. Like most users have never gotten a salesy DM. Like sure they get followed by some scammy like OnlyFans type adult type thing that like is some own weird funnel. But yeah. Anyway, it was a really long answer to your question, but it's been going well. We're still very early. Candidly, we've only done 2 campaigns seriously on Twitter DMs, and one of them worked okay, and one of them worked exceptionally well. And I know the one that only worked okay, it had everything to do with the offer and not Twitter DMs as a strategy. But 30%,
God.
sorry, I'll shut up in a second. 30% reply rates from people with thousands of followers or tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of followers, that tells me there's like an 80-90% open rate. There's
Yeah.
just no way. There's no way. Otherwise, it'd be a 50% reply rate on opens, which would be unheard of.
And dude, that's the thing. Like, I I feel like sometimes people are scared to go after like those bigger guys just because they have a ton of followers. Like I've had clients
Mm.
where they're like, no, let's not reach out to anyone with over 50,000 followers because they're not even gonna like they're not gonna reply, right? It's like why, right? Like and that's and it's beautiful that people think that because you can just kind of take advantage of that and reach out to those guys that aren't being hit up. And that's kind of a rule with outreach, I feel. It's like if you reach out to people that aren't getting reached out to, like you're in a blue ocean, right? You're in a blue ocean. If you're hitting up other people within like the money Twitter space, then obviously they're getting they're getting hit every like every day pretty much. But if you reach out to those guys, like you said, like people like golf, right? Like who do you know that's reaching out to people like with an info product in the golf space? Who's using Twitter DMs for that? Like there's really no one, right? So it would probably work really, really well. So it's kind of finding those and hitting those people that are like those hidden whales. And it's hard. It's not easy to find those hidden whales, but I've hopped on calls with people that are legit. Like they have a profile picture. They follow like 10 people. And then they have no content. They might have something about their company in their bio. Maybe they don't even have a bio and they run like multi-million dollar companies and they have like no clue that Twitter outreach is a thing because no one's reaching out to them.
Yeah,
Um,
I also just think a lot of these people, like when you, I used to be a YouTuber 15 years ago. I had
I
a million
remember
subscribers on YouTube, and
we
you
talked.
get hit up all the time by people. And the truth is like I think okay, there's a level where a David Dobrik, a KSI, a Logan Paul has absolutely no
Right,
interest, no reason to go through their DMs. But I think people would be really surprised. Someone with a million followers. I'm trying to think of a good example here, but like it when you even when you have a lot of followers and a lot of DM requests, you're always going to be curious if there's like something over here of value. And when you can read the first like 8 words or whatever of a Twitter DM that you get, you can scan through 50 messages, and let's be real, about 3 or 4 seconds. Like that's all it takes to scroll through 50 messages. You can quickly spot, a message that doesn't seem like salesy. So every message is like, "Hey Sam, do you have any problems with this? Hey Sam, do you have any problems with this? Hey Sam," and it's like, all right, I'm not even going to open those because I know what I'm going to get. But when you see the guy who's like, um, yo, like your last video was incredible, or I don't know, that's a terrible example, but you get the point. Like you can stand out. You can absolutely stand out. Oh, I was just saying, and then it's just about offer. Like once you have their attention, if you actually have offer, case study, outcome to show them, if they're interested, doesn't matter. I was going to say earlier, your email, I think in the newsletter about like Noah Kagan responding or something like that. Like these people need shit. Like you have something they
exactly,
want. So
exactly.
it's just like hook and then actually providing value or having something of value.
And I think he's an example of one of those guys. Like we've gotten replies from him from like multiple different campaigns. We've gotten
Absolutely.
responses. Like, dude, we got one from Ty Lopez like a while back, and he was like, "Yeah, just like WhatsApp me. Like, here's my WhatsApp. Message me there." And he literally just gave us his phone number, dude.
Amazing. Amazing.
And like we hopped on calls with, or we booked clients calls with like a bunch of the phase people, like people that do like for like short form content offers, like a bunch of like YouTubers with multi millions
Wow.
on YouTube. And it's because like they're really like, yes, they're getting hit up a ton, but there's ways to stand out if you know how to do it. And I think like you're the perfect example, dude, because you have like like what, a couple 100,000 followers on Twitter. And like you go through your DMs, everyone, like you go through them, and if there's something that like there's ways to essentially like get your attention, right? Even if you have a ton of followers, and like multi millions on YouTube, which is so dope, dude. By the way, but yeah, I guess just to kind of wrap things up, if you like, who would you recommend Twitter, like, first of all, would you recommend Twitter outreach to anyone, and if so, like, who would you recommend it to? What are your kind of tips based off of your campaigns that are running 30% open or reply rates? What have you seen maybe that's a little bit different from like the traditional cold out or like cold email? What would you say on that?
So who would I recommend it for? This might sound like dramatic, but like this really does feel like as useful or almost as useful as cold email. Actually, funny enough, I think before I ever tried Drippy, I I don't know how you feel about me saying this, but I actually built an internal tool that was exactly like Drippy, except I built one feature you guys don't have that I really wanted, and I'll tell you afterwards. But
Sweet.
I I wanted to do recruiting through Twitter DMs. So I thought, oh man, there's so many tech, people on Twitter. There, Y Combinator has a million followers. Naval has a million followers. Mark Andreessen has a million followers. Clearly, a ton of the tech industry is here. You know, I ended up deciding not to do that because I realized it's a bit of a commoditized service overall, and it was a little bit of difficulty finding like people who are actively engaged on Twitter versus followed these people years ago. But also, I was like at the time I was dealing with some health stuff, and there's a lot of business opportunities on my plate, and I just decided to go a different direction. But dude, I think you could build a monster recruiting business off of Twitter DMs. I think you could build a monster like info products business, helping like people like the private equity guy I mentioned just sell his course to people who follow golf accounts. I think there's almost as many opportunities as there is with cold email, and my God, is like I can't even. I can't even think to recommend a specific type of business because it's more like who won't this work for? That might sound really dramatic, but if you are really a cold email guy, like if you know that world and how many different types of businesses use it on a daily basis. I mean, Zoom Info is like a $5 billion company, I think. That's basically a cold email company. They just sell data to people to do cold email with. That means there's hundreds, if not thousands, of different types of companies that it's working for. So I don't know. Everyone that uses Zoom Info, there's obviously huge exceptions here, but like
Right.
I see no reason why I couldn't go close $100 or $200 or $300,000 a year enterprise sale if I'm like a founder or a salesperson at a tech company by using Drippy to target founders who follow Mark Andreessen or who follow Y Combinator or who follow
Or that have shown
whatever.
intent
So
as well, because like you
yeah,
can scrape people that have like been interacting with other posts and stuff
yeah,
like that, so
yeah,
like
and
those
that's what I should have
intent.
done for. Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry.
those no, like that's beautiful. And yeah, that's kind of like that's who we see get the best results, honestly. So it's perfect you say that. Like people that already know outreach, that are already
Yeah,
running outreach, that are already running successful campaigns on cold email, that like those are the guys that get the best results, because it like there's no
well,
learning curve, right? It's just kind of like, all right, let's just set up a campaign, pretty much the same copy, let's just tweak a
yeah,
couple things to make it like fit Twitter, and then let's go, and then you can
yeah.
send it out a ton of volume. And
Actually, I thought of who I should recommend it to. Everyone who doesn't compete with me. No one who targets. Actually, all our campaigns are starting to go down. Everyone else.
uh, yeah, no. If you're targeting Sam's clients,
It's not gonna work, man.
get
It's
out
not.
get out of Twitter. Just delete your
Our
Twitter
offer was,
accounts.
you know what our copy was? I'll tell you. It was your house is on fire. Please come home ASAP. We also tried to kidnap your mother. Would you
That's
like
why
her
it works
back?
so well.
Yeah, yeah,
Would you like her back?
yeah.
Awesome, dude. Fuck yeah. Sweet. Well, dude, where can people find you? We know you're a super famous YouTuber, dude. Should people go check out your YouTube? Where should people find
Yeah,
you?
yeah, yeah. You'll watch my 9-year-old, 15-year-old, whatever. No, I mean, I have a Twitter at Sam Batesh. If you want to check out our site for the agency, it's socialreach.co. The site's not up yet, but I'm actually also about to launch a new agency that's just going to be like the high volume cold email agency. It's going to be called Ultrasend, ultrasend.co. That site should be up in the next week, so it might be up by the time you guys put this out. But yeah, LinkedIn at Sam Batesh. If you want to get in touch with me, I actually just turned on open DMs on Twitter to test a Drippy thing, and I might just leave that on for a little bit. So if you want to reach me there, or Sam at socialreach.co.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, Sam, dude, I appreciate you a ton. Thank you for hopping on.
Well,
We'll
thank
stay
you.
in touch. No.
And anyone watching this, Drippy's fucking amazing, but really Alex is fucking amazing. So like, just dive in, and you're gonna get a lot of value very
Hey,
fast.
I appreciate you a ton, Sam. Appreciate you a ton,
Of
man. We'll stay in
course.
touch.
Pleasure, man. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. Thank you.